Even when the Amish have money in the bank, there are 5 things they will not buy. Not because they cannot afford them. Some of these families own farms worth more than the homes of the people who pity them. They have cash. They have land that has been paid off for 3 generations. And still, they refuse. Shalom, my dear friend, and welcome. My name is Rabbi Moshe, and I have spent the better part of my life studying what I call the ancient wealth code, the quiet disciplines that separate families who hold on to money from families who watch it slip away. For more than 30 years, I have sat with merchants, with farmers, with widows counting coins at a kitchen table, and I have watched a pattern repeat itself so many times that I can no longer call it coincidence. The families who refuse certain purchases on principle, not on price, are almost always the families who end the decade richer than they began it. Today I want to take you among a people I have come to admire deeply, though they are not my own. The Amish. A people who, by every measure the modern world uses to judge success, should be poor. They drive no cars. They wear no labels. They carry no insurance card in a wallet. And yet, quietly, across Pennsylvania and Ohio and Indiana, many of these families have accumulated wealth that would shame the average suburban household drowning in payments. I am going to show you the 5 things they will not buy, no matter how full the coffers grow. I will show you the discipline behind each refusal, what it costs the ordinary family who never learns it, and the ancient Torah teaching that runs underneath all of it like water under good soil. And I promise you this, the 5th thing, the one I will save for last, is the one most people in our world surrender first, and it is the one that pulls more families apart and empties more accounts than all the others combined. I did not come to admire the Amish economy by accident. I came to it through my grandfather, may his memory be a blessing. He was not a wealthy man in the way the world counts wealth. He was a tailor, and later he kept a small shop, and the shop never made him rich. But my grandfather never owed a single soul a single coin in his entire adult life, and when he died, every one of his children inherited something, modest but real, in a generation when most men left their families nothing but debts and regrets. I remember sitting with him on the wooden step behind the shop when I was a boy, and asking him why he would not buy the new sewing machine on the easy monthly terms the salesman offered. The man had been so kind, so patient. My grandfather looked at me and said only this, "A thing you cannot pay for is a thing that owns you." I did not understand it then. I have spent my whole life understanding it since. Years later, when I first traveled through Amish country to study how a people could thrive while owning so little of what we are told we must own, I heard my grandfather's voice everywhere. I heard it in the way a farmer described how his community had rebuilt his neighbor's barn after a fire, not with an insurance check, but with their own hands, in a single day. I heard it in the way a young couple spoke of waiting, of saving, of buying their first plot of land with cash that had been gathered.
I need to stop here for a moment. What I'm about to share changed my life, and it's already changing thousands of others. I've put everything into the Jewish Money Code, 3 complete books with all the rituals, prayers, and ancient principles that wealthy Jewish families have protected for generations. This isn't just a video. This is the beginning. If you want the complete system, the link is in the description and pinned in the first comment.
Slowly, patiently, without a bank ever holding a lien over their heads. These were not poor people pretending to be content. These were content people who had quietly become wealthy because of their contentment. That paradox is the heart of everything I teach, and it is the heart of the book I wrote, The Ancient Wealth Code. If what I share with you today moves something in you, that book is where I lay out the entire system, the disciplines and the ancient teachings that built fortunes long before any of us were born. I will tell you more about it as we go. For now, simply listen, because the 5 refusals I am about to describe are the spine of that whole code. Let me first speak plainly about you, my friend, because I am not here to admire a faraway people while ignoring the table at which you sit. You buy these 5 things. Most likely you buy them without thinking, the way a man breathes without counting his breaths, you were taught to buy them. The whole machinery of the modern world was built to make sure you buy them, on schedule, on autopilot, every month, for the rest of your life. And each one of them, quietly, in a way you almost never feel in the moment, takes a piece of the wealth you might have built and hands it to someone else. This is the truth almost no one will say to your face. You are not poor because you do not earn enough. Many of you earn more in a month than an Amish family spends in half a year. You are poor, or you feel poor, or you stay one emergency away from ruin because of what you have agreed to buy and to keep buying, without ever stopping to ask whether the purchase serves you or enslaves you. Consider what happens in the ordinary household. The car payment arrives, and then the insurance premium on top of it, and then the financing charge on the furniture, and the subscriptions that renew silently while you sleep, and the brand-name clothing bought to impress people who are themselves buried in their own payments. Each charge alone seems small. Each one, the salesman assures you, is reasonable, is normal, is what everyone does. And that is precisely the trap. The Torah warns us, in the book of Exodus, that when you lend money you shall not act as a creditor, you shall not charge interest. The ancient word is ribbit, the bite, and our sages chose that word with care, because interest does not take from you all at once. It bites. A small bite, again and again, month after month, year after year, until the animal that seemed harmless has consumed the better part of your life's earnings. The average family will pay more in interest over a lifetime than they will ever save for retirement. Read that again and let it sit. More handed to lenders than kept for your own old age. That is not poverty of income. That is poverty of discipline, and discipline can be learned. Everything I am teaching you here is only the beginning. The Ancient Wealth Code, my book, takes each of these disciplines and shows you exactly how to apply it in a modern life, with a job and a mortgage and children who want what their friends have. You will find it linked in the description and pinned in the first comment below. I tell you plainly, knowledge without action is worthless. A man who hears the truth and changes nothing.
I have to pause here because thousands of you have already downloaded the Jewish Money Code collection, and the messages I'm receiving are incredible. People paying off debt, attracting unexpected money, finally breaking the cycle of poverty. These 3 books contain everything: the rituals, the prayers, the mindset shifts, the daily practices, the complete system. The link is waiting for you in the description. Every day you wait is another day stuck in the same patterns. Now, let me share the most powerful secret.
Thing is poorer than the man who never heard it, because now he knows, and still he sits. So I ask you to do more than nod along. I ask you to listen as though your family's future depends on it, because in a quiet, accumulating way, it does. Now I must say something that the title of this teaching demands I make honest. The Amish do not refuse these 5 things because they are poor. This is the misunderstanding that keeps the rest of us trapped. We look at a man who owns no car, and we assume he cannot afford one. We are wrong. Many an Amish farmer could write a check for a fleet of automobiles tomorrow and never feel it. He refuses by conviction, not by lack. There is a word at the center of the Amish life, Gelassenheit, which means something like a humble yielding, a calm surrender of the self, and its appetites to the good of the family and the community and the will of God. It is the opposite of the spirit our age worships, the spirit that says you deserve it, you have earned it, you are worth it, buy it now. The wealthy Amish family refuses precisely because it is wealthy enough to be tempted and chooses year after year not to be ruled by the temptation. That is the lesson. It is not the poor man who cannot buy who builds wealth, it is the man who can buy and will not. So let me walk you now through the 5, each one a refusal, each one a door to wealth that most of us have padlocked from the inside. The first thing they will not buy is commercial insurance. To the modern ear, this sounds reckless, even foolish. We have been taught that insurance is responsibility itself, that to go without it is to gamble with our families. But listen to what the Amish do instead, because they have not abandoned the protection insurance promises. They have replaced the company with the community. Among them there is what is called Amish Aid, a mutual fund of obligation that is not a corporation but a covenant. When a barn burns to the ground, no adjuster arrives weeks later with a reduced check and a list of exclusions. The neighbors arrive, dozens of them, sometimes hundreds, with their tools and their lumber in their own hands, and in a single day, they raise a new barn where the ashes stood. I have heard farmers describe it with tears in their eyes, the sight of 100 men on the bones of a new structure by noon, what the insurance company sells for a premium every month, forever, the community provides for free, in exchange for the same promise returned when a neighbor's turn comes. Here is the Torah underneath it, and it is one of the most beautiful phrases in all of our tradition. Kol Yisrael arevim ze bezech. All of Israel are responsible for one another. The word arevim means co-signers, guarantors. We are meant to stand surety for each other's burdens. The Amish have simply refused to outsource that responsibility to a company that profits from our fear. What does it cost the average family to ignore this? A premium paid every month for decades, the great majority of which is never returned, all because we have let our communities dissolve until there is no one left to raise our barn. What can you do instead? You may not have a community that will rebuild your house in a day, not yet. But you can build the emergency fund that lets you self-insure the small disasters, you can stop insuring what you could afford to replace, and you can begin to rebuild the bonds with neighbors and family that our age has let rot. The second thing they will not buy is the car, and more than the car, everything the car has come to mean. The luxury vehicle, the status on wheels, the machine bought new, on a loan, to be replaced in 3 years by another machine on another loan, in an endless chain that the ordinary family carries for the whole of its working life. The Amish keep their transport plain, a buggy, a horse, and when a journey truly requires it, a hired driver paid in cash for that single trip, with no title, no payment, no depreciation, eating the value down to nothing while the debt stays whole. Now hear me clearly, because I am not telling you to sell your car and buy a horse. I am telling you to see what the car has become in our world. It is no longer transport. It is a costume. It is a way of telling strangers at a traffic light that we are doing well, even when we are not, even when the very vehicle announcing our success is the largest single reason we have no savings. The Torah and our sages warned again and again against the pursuit of kavod she'eno shelo, honor that is not truly yours, the borrowed dignity of appearing greater than you are. The Amish refuse the status symbol entirely, and in refusing it they keep the tens of thousands of dollars the rest of us pour into machines that lose half their worth the moment we drive them home. What does it cost the family who ignores this? It is perhaps the single most expensive refusal on this list to ignore. A lifetime of car payments and the interest upon them and the insurance upon them can consume a sum that, invested instead, would have made an ordinary family wealthy by old age. What can you do instead? Buy used, buy with cash when you possibly can, keep the vehicle long after the loan is gone and the payment becomes savings. And above all, stop buying the costume, let the car be a tool, never a crown. The third thing they will not buy is anything on credit, anything financed. Anything that is not paid for in full, in cash, on the day it comes home. This is perhaps the hardest discipline for the modern person even to imagine, because our entire economy is built on the assumption that we will borrow. We finance the furniture, the appliances, the holidays, the very weddings at which we promise to build a life together while burying that life in debt before it begins. The Amish say no. If they cannot pay for it, they do not buy it. They wait, they save, they go without, sometimes for years, until the cash is gathered. And here we return to ribbit, to interest, to the bite, which the book of Exodus forbids in the plainest terms. If you lend money to my people, to the poor among you, you shall not be to him as a creditor, you shall not charge him interest. Our sages understood that debt is a form of servitude